All right, you guys. So today we are going to get a look at the Star Wars Resistance A-Wing and Pilot from Hasbro, guys. And then we are also going to get a look at the A-Wing Resistance Fighter from the Revell collection of model crafts, guys. So we are going to get a look at both of these versions of the Resistance A-Wing fighter in the red color scheme, guys. And then of course, as you can also see, I have included a couple of versions of the A-Wing. Of course, we have the Legacy A-Wing in the red or burgundy, more or less, color scheme. And then we also have the Star Wars Rebels version of the A-Wing fighter, the classic Rebel version of the A-Wing fighter, guys. So we're going to get a look at all of these versions of the A-Wing, guys. And of course, as you see, we have the blue version of the A-Wing over there as well. So we're going to get a look at all of these versions of the A-Wings here today, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So getting you guys a look at both boxes here, guys. Of course, we have our traditional Hasbro version of the A-Wing fighter in its traditional box with the Last Jedi marketing material for the packaging. Across the top, the banner, we have a depiction of the A-Wing fighter in its red color scheme. We also have it here with the Force Link device as well. And then we also have our pilot that is included with this particular item. So really, really cool. And this particular version of the A-Wing fighter model kit with light and sound effects from Revell is really, really cool, guys. And we will get a comparison of this particular vehicle to its predecessor, which is the blue Resistance version of the A-Wing fighter, guys. So we will get a look at both of those. And then, of course, on the box, we have a cool depiction of the fighter itself, A-Wing fighter model kit with light and sound effects. We have a little Arabic language there that I cannot decipher there for you. Warning labels, very, very cool, guys. And then incidentally, this particular version of this Revell came from Galaxy's Edge when I visited the park just a couple of months ago. This was one of the items that I picked up along with some of the other Black Series figure sets that I did reviews on a little bit earlier, guys. So go ahead and check those videos out if you have not already in my playlist. And then real quickly on the side of each box on our Hasbro version, we have a couple of TIE fighters there on the side with a little background there, Star Wars logo, Disney. And then for our Revell model kit, again, we have a little Arabic language, again, that I cannot decipher, and a really cool kind of like a treasure box style of imprint on the outside packaging, which is really nice and very cool, especially for the Revell line of model aircrafts. And then on the back of each of the box, guys, again, starting with the Hasbro version of the A-Wing Resistance fighter, we have a very cool depiction of the vehicle with its figure on the outside. It does come with projectiles on the vehicle as well, so that is absolutely awesome. Star Wars logo. Again, we have our Force Link information off to the side. Warning labels, very, very cool. And then for our Revell snap tight model vehicle, we have our A-Wing fighter model kit, light and sounds effect across the top. We have kind of all of the pieces as they come in the box. Revell Star Wars logo at the bottom there, a cool again with the very cool design around the box, guys. And then on the other side of each box, guys, again we have our Star Wars logo, Force Link information, figure, vehicle, and then for the Revell, we have again the cool design of the box and more Arabic writing. And of course, guys, we are back around the front. So guys, we are going to pull these vehicles out of the box, guys, get a closer look at each one of the vehicles, compare them to their predecessors, as well as the legacy version of the A-Wing vehicle, guys. I thought we'd have a little fun with the A-Wing here this afternoon, so let's go ahead and get a look. All right, you guys, so at first I was not going to bore you with the construction of either one of these vehicles, but there was something, a couple of things actually, that I really thought were interesting that I wanted to point out to you guys prior to completely building the Revell model of the Resistance A-Wing, guys. So just to cover a couple of things before we actually get this thing built here. With the previous model here, which is the blue and white version. So just to pull it a little bit closer so we can get a look at some of the things that I wanted to point out to you guys here. First of all, if you get a look at the exterior of each one, I have not weathered the blue and white version of the Resistance A-Wing fighter. But as you can see, the red version, the red and white version, comes with its own pre-weathered condition, which is really, really cool and very awesome that they've done that for you. So it's going to be really cool to see what this looks like once we get it all together, where the previous version, this version kind of leaves it up to you to do the weathering on it. I have not obviously been able to get to that as of yet. And then one of the other things that I wanted to point out to you guys is the fact that the pilot in the previous version was basically a all white mold with no color to it. So I had to paint it prior to placing it into the vehicle and fully constructing the vehicle. So as you guys can see, and just to get you guys a closer look, I had to kind of mimic the colors of the pilot on the Hasbro version of this vehicle. And I will pull that pilot up a little bit closer in just a moment, just so you can see what I did to kind of mimic the same colors for the pilot. Now, obviously, I wasn't able to put any color to the face, but you can see that white is the same color that was exposed for the complete entire figure for this vehicle. However, the pilot for our red version of the Resistance A-Wing vehicle comes pre-painted colors on the helmet, as you can see, in the full green jumpsuit or flight suit, whatever you want to call it, but really, really cool. Again, that they've kind of thought ahead and maybe even listened to some of the complaints of the previous version of this vehicle. So that is some really cool stuff that Revell has done to kind of show that they're listening to the model builders and the people who pick up these vehicles. So that is really, really good job by Revell. I really enjoy that. So just to give you guys an idea of what I was talking about in regards to mimicking the colors for the pilot, this particular pilot right here is the pilot for the blue A-Wing. So I tried to mimic the orange visor, the white helmet, the symbol on the helmet. Didn't do a really good job of matching the green for her suit. Obviously, my pilot came out with more of an emerald green versus a fatigue green, so that was unfortunate. But I tried to mimic all the colors as best I could. Here you can see red A-Wing version comes with, again, this particular pilot here, who comes with not quite the same color scheme as the Hasbro pilot depicted right here, but at least you have the green jumpsuit that's correct. Again, the helmet colors aren't exactly as it is with the Hasbro version, but it's still cool nonetheless there, guys. So there is your quick comparison between the pilots for both of these vehicles versus the Hasbro version as well. I wanted to get you guys a look at the instruction booklet for the Revell model for the A-Wing red version of the A-Wing Resistance vehicle, which is really, really awesome because not only do you have the A-Wing right there front and center, but you kind of have the bomber right there in the background as well. I know there was some controversy versus the dropping of the bombs for the bomber versus the effects of space. But I really do enjoy those bombers. I think they're really, really cool looking. And I would love to get a model of those bombers. So I just thought that was really interesting that they depicted that particular ship behind the A-Wing for the instruction booklet for the Revell model. Really, really cool stuff there, guys. All right, you guys. So we have our vehicles out of their boxes and all put together, and a really cool display here of the different versions of A-Wings that we've been able to get in the 3 1/4 size line, guys. So let's take a look at all of the different versions of the A-Wing that we have received in this line, guys. So focusing specifically on the Resistance version of the A-Wing Resistance fighter, guys, both in the Revell snap type version as well as the Hasbro versions, guys. So really, really cool. So of course, as I showed you guys earlier, our Revell model comes really, really cool, comes weathered pretty decently, very nicely. And then of course you also get the figure on the inside that comes pre-painted, as opposed to the previous version where you had to basically paint it yourself, and you did not get the weathering that you get on the red A-Wing. So a couple of big differences there. Other than that, the assembly and parts and everything are exactly the same. Everything operates exactly the same. Really cool. Very, very awesome. A look at the light up features on the vehicles, guys. And then of course there's a second set of sounds as well. So really cool vehicles from the Revell line of vehicles, guys, here. Really, really cool to have both of these vehicles in these 2 different color patterns. And then of course, guys, we have the Hasbro 3 1/4 size version of the Resistance A-Wing fighter, guys, in the brownish rust color versus the original blue and white version of the A-Wing fighter, guys. So these are both really, really cool vehicles. Obviously they are the exact same mold, same features. Everything is absolutely the same for both of these vehicles. There are some differences, obviously, with our pilots. As you can see there, we have a I believe this is, and I forget the character's name, unfortunately, it escapes me at the moment, but I believe she was actually in The Last Jedi as Rose's cousin or sister or something, I believe, I forget, but I actually did love her part in The Last Jedi. And then obviously we have just a random pilot who is a part of the Red Squadron of the A-Wing Resistance fighters, guys. So it's really cool that you get a different pilot. They could have just put the same figure in with the same vehicle, but they obviously gave you at least a different color scheme and a different helmet with the pilot, as well as even a different shade of green for the jumpsuit, which is absolutely awesome there, guys. So really cool. I'm very glad that I picked up this vehicle, and I actually picked up this vehicle from Ross here in the United States. for just $7.99. I actually have two of these vehicles that I picked up for that particular price. So a really good bargain versus the original retail price that I paid for this version of the vehicle, guys. And I forget what the original retail price was, but I'm sure it was somewhere in the area of $20 to $30 US dollars here, guys. So there you have your two vehicles there, guys, and we're going to get you a closer look at the vehicle as well as the features for both vehicles. All right, you guys, and then getting you a look at our two Hasbro 3 1/4 size A-wing aircrafts here, guys. Again, this is the same exact ship, exact mode. You just get a different color scheme and a different pilot. But the differences in the color scheme are cool nonetheless. As you guys can see, there's our blue and white. And here is our, as I had mentioned, more of a rust color than the actual red. As you can see behind it, the red resistance A-wing there. So with this one, you kind of get more of a rusted reddish color. Very cool though. You get the gray projectiles or the weapons to the side, and then more of an off-white color that runs down the middle and on the engines, as opposed to the white that you get on the Revell model that runs down the middle and on the engine. So a couple of key differences there. And then getting you a side profile of both vehicles. You have your side profile there. Really cool. As you can see on the bottom of the back fin, you have your marker there, just as you do on the blue model. So that's really cool. On the front, you get a little bit more weathering than you do on the blue. Of course, the blue, you get the missing blue paint at the top, but for our rusted reddish color, you get kind of that weathered burn look. So that's kind of cool. But then you also get that off to the side of the blue one as well. You get that also there. So that is really, really cool there, guys. And then getting you a look at the back of the vehicle here, guys. Again, same exact mode. There are no differences here, but you get to see in regards to the color scheme where the real differences are on these vehicles. And then also getting you a look at the size comparison of the vehicles versus the legacy version of the Revell A-wing fighter, guys. You could see that the legacy Revell A-wing fighter is much larger in scale. But so there you go, guys. You can see but this is the A-wing design, whether it be the Revell or the Resistance. It's just a very, very awesome design. It's just really, really cool. With your pilot that comes with the vehicle, she is compatible with the ForceLink 2.0. So let's get a look at some of the sound effects for her.
Reporting in, Squadron Leader. The enemy is on the move. Reporting in, Squadron Leader. I've located the targets. The enemy is on the move. I've located the targets. Reporting in, Squadron Leader. Here they come. Protect the bombers. Here they come. Protect the bombers.
So there's the differences with the pilots and their voices and what they say. There we go. So there are the sounds. So those are the sounds that we're supposed to get for the red vehicle. Let's see if we can't activate those.
Firmware update required. Firmware update required. Firmware update required.
So again, this vehicle has not been updated yet with the sound effects. Probably one of the reasons why I was able to get it for $7.99. To get you guys a closer look at the interior of both vehicles, as you can see, and I hope I'm getting it in there, guys, behind the seat, the weapon, there's a holder for the weapon for each of your vehicles. So you can keep your character's weapon secure just behind the seat. So that is really cool. And then of course you can get a look at the interior for both vehicles, which again is the same exact mode, guys. So there it is, guys. Very, very cool, very awesome. Of course, you also have your shooting projectiles, guys, on either side. So there you have it, guys. Your Revell and Hasbro versions of the red A-Wing Resistance version. Really cool. We have our Legacy Rebel A-Wing for comparison. And then we have our Star Wars Rebels A-Wing as well. Kind of in a cartoon version of the vehicle. But those are our A-Wings. Really cool stuff there, guys. I really, really love the Revell models of A-Wings. They're just really, really cool. I would have preferred to weather this particular vehicle myself, but it is cool that they did think of that nonetheless. And then of course, again, they thought to pre-paint the figure for you this time around, as opposed to leaving it up to you, which depending on what type of model builder you are, is a good or bad thing. So guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Put those comments down below. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost. May the Force be with you always.